trauma and drama. All for the baby. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to catch me. Y'all, this ain't no bedtime story. It might give you nightmares, okay? Because I'm shook. I'm shook. Welcome to my channel. Hey y'all, I am Vanessa. Y'all, it's story time, okay? Let me tell you about going to the hospital yesterday. All right. I have severe anxiety, on top of depression, on top of a low ability to cope with stress, right? And I'm pregnant. I did not expect in a million years that the hospital could make it worse. The hospital. I thought that you were supposed to feel safe at the hospital. Lies. Lies. Okay. So, of course, it all starts off positive. I'm going to have all the roses sprinkled in first. But we go to the hospital, walk in, I see a familiar face, and I'm like, okay, green check. We go upstairs to the labor and delivery unit, and I see another familiar face. Now, this was the nurse that I had last time, but she was already working with somebody, so I knew that she wouldn't be my nurse for that day. But I still felt comfortable, just because I even saw her. And here comes Nurse Midwest with her sniffling. Oh, don't worry. Oh my gosh, she was sniffling. Okay. Now, at first, it was pretty positive. I'm not even going to hold her. It was pretty positive. She was trying to engage in conversation. She was telling me how she texts back and forth to the doctor that I had previously because I really liked him. And she and he are both from the Midwest. So she would, talk about jokes that they shared together when she was texting him. So I was like, okay, this, it's cool. We're all right. We're fine. And then the doctor comes in. So when the doctor comes in, she asked me a bunch of questions, and I'm not concerned because last time I was super honest. This time I was just planning on being super honest. And last week I had a rough week, so I'm being honest about how I felt. Now, I want you to remember that I have agoraphobia, depression, social anxiety, and PTSD. So I'm pretty sure this was heavy for her. Anything that I told her, she was just, I'm sure it was heavy for her, right? So the doctor is telling me that due to a rare antibody that I have, I may need to get a follow up at a particular specialized hospital. So of course I get a little bit like upset about it. Like I don't want to go to another hospital. I'm actually feeling comfortable and safe here. And the test that she wanted to run at the other hospital really had no bearing pre-delivery. Like they couldn't do anything if it wasn't a favorable test or whatever. They just had to kind of monitor it and follow up, and then after the baby comes, then if there's something wrong or if there's an issue, then they can address it. So I was like, no, I don't want that extra stress of having to worry about something possibly being wrong. And I definitely don't want to leave my house twice a week to go to this other hospital, right? Agoraphobia, the first one. I am not trying to leave the house. So that was a decline for me. Nope, not going to do it. And she's like, fine, it's okay. I understand. We would be more than happy to have you here with us. We're going to do our best. Just understand that we're going to have limited information when it comes specifically to this antibody. But everything else, we should be able to run and take care of with no problem. So I'm like, okay, cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool, cool. Not a problem. I don't have to do it. You're not trying to say that I have to do it. And we both recognize the fact that nothing can be done anyway. So we might as well just like push that off to the side. It's not a big deal. Okay. Okay. So I go and get the ultrasound, and things are just like rolling along. And the ultrasound tech, she was so cute and she was so sweet. Like, she really made me feel so comfortable, right? So once I leave from the ultrasound with the tech and I go back to triage, the doctor wants to dig a little deeper and discuss how I'm feeling a little bit more in depth. And I'm like, okay, like I came here to check the baby, but if you want to talk about other issues and offer other support, I'm with it. I'm feeling comfortable. Like, it's not so bad. Let's talk about it. So during the conversation, me being honest, I make a comment about feeling hopeless and wanting to jump off of a bridge when I feel like super down or super overwhelmed. But I say to her, like, I would never do that, of course, because I have goals and aspirations and I have things that I see for my life. And of course, I have a new baby coming. So, that's really not a concern of mine, but that is sometimes how I feel, especially when I get to that super low point, right? So she's telling me, not a problem. I just want you to talk to a psychiatrist that we have on staff, and maybe she can, help walk you through some medications that you may be able to take. Of course, I'm like, medications, baby, we don't really do this. Like, I don't really take medications. And she was like, oh, no, 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 don't worry. Of course, we're going to focus on the baby. We're going to address any of those issues, make sure that we're giving you whatever help we can give you. So I'm like, okay, cool. Non-issue. Let's chat about it, right? Not a big deal.
2 hours later.
2 hours later, the psychiatrist finally comes in to speak with me. And then she's like, oh, well, can OJ leave? Because I want to talk to you privately. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, but okay. So she starts with questions and she's like, okay, I just want to dig into the depths of your sadness. I want to talk about your daily routines. I want to talk about your habits, what support systems you have, and all of that. And we're just having a conversation. And of course, I'm feeling a little teary eyed because I'm actually talking about sadness, but how I'm also trying to develop my routines and habits so that I really don't get to that space, right? So then she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, hold on for a minute. And she has to take a call. So she's sitting there and she's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she says, yes, I'm with her now. You can begin the admission. And as soon as she hangs up the phone, I'm like, huh? What? And she was like, oh, yeah, it's just, we're trying to admit you into this program where we offer therapy and possible medications. Just because you're pregnant, we don't want to just give you the medicine for you to go home because we want to make sure it's not affecting you or that you're actually taking the medicines. And, we just don't want you to start it at home. So we would like for you to stay so that we can monitor any reaction that you have, right? So at this point, it's starting to sound a little suspect because she goes from these are your options to this is what's going to happen. And I said several times to this lady, I'm willing to stay one night just so that we get the assurances for the treatment. Like, that does sound doable. I can do one night, but I'm not staying away from my house. I'm not staying away from OJ more than a few hours overnight. Like, we just talked about my support systems. We just talked about the things that I'm feeling. Like, I'm not putting myself in that situation. Like, I'm not going to do that. So she gets up and leaves the room. And then I hear Nurse Midwest say, well, what do you want me to do if she wants to leave? So at this point, I'm like, okay, I know this doctor's about to come in here. Like, what is she talking about if I want to leave? Like, I'm expecting the doctor to come in and be like, okay, this is what we have going on right now. This is where we stand. What is it that you can handle? Let's make a plan of action. Let's walk through this, right? No. No, the doctor did not come back in at this point. And the next thing I hear is a bunch of people standing outside of the door who are security for the hospital explaining to Nurse Midwest that they're unable to do anything because there's not an IVC in place. And she's telling them, oh, well, this lady was supposed to do it and this lady passed it over to the nurse manager and the nurse manager doesn't know how to do it. But if you tell me how to do it right now, like, I can do it right now, and that's no problem. And then she says my name. And I'm like, OJ, press the call button. Press the call button. What the WTF is going on? And I'm like, I want to leave. Like, as soon as she comes in the room, like, that's the first thing I say to her, I want to leave. So she tells me times, about 10 times she said these exact words, that she was sorry, but they are not going to let me leave because my sadness is a danger to myself and to the baby. She said it like 10 times. Honey, the floodgates just opened up. Like, I start crying uncontrollably. And then OJ's like, oh, just stop. You're making it worse. I'm like, bruh, you like 2 seconds from a black eye. Like, what is going on right now? Like, don't tell me that I'm making it worse. Don't tell me that I'm overreacting. Like, this lady just said that they're not going to let me leave. So I'm asking Nurse Midwest, like, why, when would I be able to leave? Like, why am I not being able to leave? Like, what do you mean? Why are things changing? And I told her, like, this is torture. Like, you're tormenting me. You know that I have agoraphobia, and you know that I don't like being away from my house. So now all of a sudden you are kind of like deciding that this is what I'm gonna do for however long you don't know, so you can give me medication and hopefully I'll feel better. Like, no. No, I was so upset. Like, I'm just snotting and crying. I was upset. Okay. So then she tries to guilt trip me, y'all. And she's like, well, think about the baby. And we're fearful of your safety and the baby's safety. Like, I am livid at this point. I am livid. And I'm just like barking at this lady. Like, you think that I would wait until the very day that I meet you to jump off a bridge? Like, I've had these issues for 20 plus years now, and you worried that right now, today, is when I'm actually going to harm myself and I'm pregnant and all of this. And she was like, no, no, we're just sorry that no one caught it before, but we are very concerned that you might hurt yourself or you might hurt your baby. And I'm like pleading with this lady at this point, like, why are you doing this? Are you serious? Like, I weigh in daily, I exercise regularly, I eat healthy, like, I'm on a schedule. Like, I would not plan my life out just to end it the day that I met you. And then, of course, Nurse Midwest passes the buck and she's like, well, I understand, but the doctor and the psychiatrist have already kind of decided that, this is what's going to happen. Now, mind you, I'm coming up on 7 hours of being there. 7 hours of in and out of triage. And about, I swear, like 5 of those hours, I spent crying and stressed the out, like all the way out, stressed out to the max. So then Nurse Midwest asked OJ, like, well, what do you think, we should do in this situation? And OJ's like, you should let her go home. Like, nothing has ever happened. She definitely has felt this way before, but she is figuring out ways to deal with it. And of course, she's happy now about the baby and all of that. Like, she's not a danger to anyone. Like, why are you doing this? So Nurse Midwest says, okay, and walks out the room. Honey, I was too through at this point. So then me and OJ, we're like in the room trying to rationalize what's going on. Like, we're going back and forth, and I'm already upset and I'm crying and I'm going through all these changes. Like, what am I supposed to do? Should I just stay? What if I have to stay more than one night? But, they probably don't even know what is going on. So I'm going to have to just deal with whatever they decide I need to deal with. And I'm like, because I do want the help, but this appointment was focused on the baby. It's not about me. We're just trying to make sure that the baby's okay. And at the end of the day, me and him were both like, nah, This is not gonna work. So we get up and leave and get chased basically all the way to the parking lot. Okay, so first of all, y'all know I'm not running because I'm pregnant. I can barely waddle. Okay. We're gonna have some check-ins coming in a little bit later so that you can see how this bump is bumping. But as we're going like down, we get on the elevator and we're coming out through the lobby. You hear on the overhead making announcement that a patient has eloped from labor and delivery, as if I'm escaping or something. And I'm just like, this is wild to me. Like, this is really wild. So we're going past the desk, and the security officer that's sitting there at the desk is on the phone with someone, and then she sees me and she's like, "Oh, ma'am, where are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm leaving. Like, I truly don't care." So someone comes down off the elevator, and both of them follow us out of the hospital into the parking lot. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, don't touch me. I'm getting in this car. I'm out of here. Like, this is insane. Like, you can't do this, right? So OJ and I get in the car, and I'm telling you, we burn the road up. Like, burn the road up. And about after like, it was like 45 minutes after I had already left, they figure out how to do this involuntary commitment form and who's supposed to be doing the involuntary commitment form. Honey, and then they call the police and send them to my house. What? Like, what? So then the sniffling and confused nurse Midwest is calling me on the phone, trying to coerce me to come back into the hospital as police are banging on my door. And she's trying to guilt trip me. And she's like, well, you need to come back because your baby is breech. Like, don't you want to help the baby? And I'm like, ma'am, first of all, I'm 28 weeks pregnant. My baby's doing cartwheels. There is no such thing as the baby being breech right now. Like, you get to be a specific position right when it's time for you to come out, either your head down or head up. That's when that part counts. Like right now, the baby can move and flip and turn whichever way he wants to. So you're trying to tell me just because right now, and he's not even breech, he's like sideways for some reason. Like his little legs and body are sideways. He wants to be sideways. So I'm just like, ma'am, miss me. Miss me with that. It's not going to work. I am not ever coming back there. Like, y'all are tricksters, you're manipulators, and quite frankly, you're out of luck. Like, I'm not ever coming back, right? The whole time that we're on the phone, the police are banging on the door. And I'm just like, whatever, y'all can bang on the door as much as y'all want to. They stayed out there for hours, hours banging on the door. Y'all really think I'm gonna open the door and go back to the hospital when I got doctor telling lies, nurse Midwest is confused, and they think that I'm gonna play guinea pig with some all these different medications until they can figure out what works in the confines of the psych ward? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not gonna happen. No, no, it's not gonna happen. So here we are right now at day 2. And I'm up this morning and I'm doing all my little thing because that's what I do. And at 9 o'clock, the police are back at the door again, banging on the door again, like banging on the door again. Honey, boo. They stood right out there. I'm not even gonna lie, until they decided to leave. I don't know how long they stood out there having a conversation with each other, but they stood right out. Mm-mm. We gonna see how this drama unfolds. But all I could say is, one, I like to stay in the house, and two, if you can't come in the house because the door doesn't open, then sorry, like the door is not gonna be open for you to come into my house. Like, no, I need some separation here. Like, and then the phone calls start. So the first call I get is from the hospital security manager. And I'm explaining to her like how grateful I am that her officers are actually honest and have integrity, because I was like, the only reason that I'm here at home safe right now is because your officer refused to detain me and violate my rights. Like, if they would have called the officer up there and the officer would have been like, oh, well, you just wanted us to detain her, let's do it, then I would have been screwed. Basically, even though they didn't have any like grounds to hold me there, if the officer would have chosen to overstep his bounds, I would have been screwed. But I was telling her, like, I'm so thankful that your officer was actually the one that I heard talking. That's the one that was speaking out loud. That was like, no, we can't do anything if you don't have the proper paperwork in place or whatever. So she was telling me, the security manager, that if I came back there, she would advocate for me, and I need to take her phone number down. And she understands, and she's so happy that her officer did the right thing. And I'm just like, no, ma'am, thank you, but I'm not ever going back there. Like, no, ma'am. So I'm off the phone with her, and then maybe 20 minutes later, while they're still out there banging on the door, the doctor's office calls me, because initially I was supposed to go into the doctor's office to see the doctor that I originally liked, but this other doctor, she also works there at that office. So they were calling then just to get an appointment for me to see a doctor at the clinic. And because it was taking so long to get the appointment, I was just like, let me just go by the hospital. I feel comfortable anyway. I don't have to worry about anything new. I may not get to see the doctor that I want to see, but it wasn't a terrible experience last time. So I was like, it should be fine. So the doctor's office calls me, and they're like, oh, honey, I just wanted to schedule your appointment. We have some openings coming up in the clinic. And I told her the situation, and I was like, ma'am, to keep it real, I want zero association with that doctor as well as the clinic. Like, don't even call me. I know the other doctor that I actually like is there, but screw it. Like, I don't even want to come into the clinic, because this doctor that I saw yesterday has just, like, I've had enough of this. And she was just like, wow, okay, well, have a nice day. I was like, bye, girl. Okay. And then, like, another hour later, another call comes in, third call, and it's the hospital. And they're calling me on behalf of the doctor that I saw yesterday, because she wanted to refer me to another mental health facility. I guess she heard from whomever that I wasn't coming there or coming back to the facility. And she was just like, I don't need to talk to her, because she's obviously upset with me. So we're just going to have the hospital call and, to, let her know that she's being referred to somewhere else. And I was like, keep your referral, keep it. Like, I don't want nothing from you. Forget you know my name. And the lady on the phone was like, are you sure? And I was like, excuse me, would you like to record it? Do you need to get my voice recorded, or can you just write it down in your notes? Like, which one is it? Because I'm pretty sure I'm being very clear. Like, no, I don't want nothing from y'all. Like, please write it down, record it, whatever you need to do. And then again, it was like that, the same exact closure that the other lady had. And she was just like, oh, wow, well, have a nice day. And I'm like, bye. Hey y'all, I'm gonna narrate over this portion of the video just because I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I know that video that you just saw did not seem that like there was any gratitude or gratefulness that I have with what has been going on, but I am so grateful. And as I was going through this video and going through this experience, it made me think about all of the different things that I can and should be grateful for. And of course, when I was in that situation, I have so much gratefulness that OJ did not leave me there, because he was there with me, and he's also suffering. You guys know he has back problems. So it was really hard for him to be sitting in that same position for such a long time. And of course, it's cold in there. So I mean, I am just so grateful that he was actually there by my side, even though I probably was getting on his nerves. But that is the one thing that I want you to remember. Even if you have agoraphobia, even if you have depression, anxiety, whatever it is that is weighing down on your mind, find something to be grateful for. I mean, life is not always easy. It's not supposed to be. It's life, and it can get hard sometimes, and it can seem like it's truly impossible just to get from, one moment to the next. But as you're going through those moments, remember that that is exactly what they are, that moment. You've had moments in your life that were great. You've had moments in your life that were not so great. And you don't ever want to discount those great moments that you had. I mean, even though your life may be different now and things may seem harder now, they weren't always in every moment the worst moment of your life, right? So love yourself, be kind. You never know who needs it, and 100% be kind to yourself. You cannot discount yourself. You cannot leave yourself out of your kindness. I was talking to someone earlier and I was telling them that in relationships, a lot of times people go out into the world and they'll be kind with the whole world, but the ones that they say they love, they'll come home to those and they don't have to be kind anymore. They can be blunt. They can just be honest and not worry about really how it affects that other person. And I think that's horrible. We just have to remember, if you say that you love me, you have to show me that you love me. If you say that you are a kind person, show me that you're kind. Don't just be kind when there's some benefit to you, or don't just be kind to the stranger. Be kind to that person that is right there with you every day. And you know who that person is? That person is you. Be kind to yourself. Now, does that mean give in to all of life's craziness? Does that mean that you don't have to regulate yourself or have responsibilities or hold yourself accountable? Absolutely not. That's not what that means at all. It means that when you're feeling low, when you're feeling sad, feel that, acknowledge it, and find a way to work out of that. When you are struggling in your day just to find a silver lining, turn on this video because I'm right here with you. I am in the trenches with you. It's hard and you have to be kind to yourself. Now, y'all can already see in this video, I'm trying to lean my best into keeping some sort of a routine. Now, one of the things that I was trying to explain to the doctors, as you see in that previous video, is when I have my habits and I have my routines and I can use those as like my security blanket. Those are my pieces of surety throughout my day, so that even when things go awry, even when things get crazy, I know, okay, well, I can get back to my routine and I feel comfortable and I feel safe in a good space. And that's what you need to remember to do. Just be kind to yourself and you will be fine. Each day is going to be different. We are not blessed to have the same day over and over again. Hence, that's why we have problems and issues. But if we just spend our time remembering back to the problems, we're not really building our future. And that is one thing that I refuse to let go. Y'all see my pregnant waddle right here. Y'all see it. So I have something to look forward to, even if it's good, even if it's bad, even if it works out perfectly, or if it doesn't. There is something that's waiting for me at the other end of this journey. And the only responsibility that I can have is to take the journey. It's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy because it's not meant to be. And if it's so easy for you, then it's not for you. It's not big enough because you are larger than that. So don't forget, you got this, okay? Depression is hard.
10
Lean
minutes.
into your routine, guys. God bless.
Let's do this. Routines.
I'm done, y'all. Day number 3 of being accountable. And look what I'm adding to the mix. Ooh, ooh, coffee. Y'all ready for this bump update? It looks quite normal from the front, doesn't it? Look at that. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Y'all ready? Oh my gracious. Hey, girl. We ain't ready. Wowie, wow, wow. Look at that. Suck it in. Oh, Jesus. Maybe this side looks smaller. It doesn't. I'm about to go take a walk. I think I can finally go outside again. We'll see if I get arrested. Day number 4. All right, y'all, here is day number 6. I did all the days. Yay! All the days. Yay, yay, yay. Made it every day of the week. Go me. Go me. Hey, hey, hey. Remember to like this video if it was something that you thought was super dope. Comment on this video if there's anything that you had questions about or you want to share. And subscribe to my channel. I am Vanessa.